too young to be so cynical. I only caught the last 4 words.
Good afternoon. Board of Supervisors will reconvene from lunch recess, and we'll take up a quick item of 7D1, the Planning Director to report.
Yes, first item on there, Sherwood Valley Rancheria Casino relocation and expansion in Willits. Comments have been submitted to the tribe. Those were consolidated comments of the county from the Department of Transportation, Planning and Building, the Water Agency, and Environmental Health. In addition, the city of Willits also commented, and their comments were very similar, I think, to those of the county. It's now the responsibility of the tribe to proceed forward with their project, respond to comments. On the code enforcement side, Lowen was a case where a helicopter that was landing and taking off north of Fort Bragg, at least for some period of time. It was also operating, I think, to take tourists to take a look at the Mendocino coastline. The property owner did cease that. We still had, in our view, it was a violation that it required a use permit for a heliport. The hearing officer, Mr. Lowen appealed. The hearing officer did concur with the county on that, and so we were successful in defending that, and I'd like to thank County Council for their actions in that. You've got a couple of appeals coming before you in the future. One is a minor subdivision located up in the hills east of Lake Mendocino. You also have Edge Wireless, which was a proposal that the board has heard previously. Then it was heard again by the Planning Commission, and that's on appeal to the Board of Supervisors as well. The zoning administrator on February 14th approved a use permit in Redwood Valley to convert a single-family residence into a 12-person residential group care home. And the Planning Commission on their February 21st meeting tentatively voted to deny a use permit for a 110-foot cell tower located in Talmadge area. They took a tentative vote to deny so that staff could prepare findings in support of their tentative action. And that would conclude my report unless there's any questions or comments.
Thank you. Now moving to the item before us, timed at 1:30. This is a public hearing to consider an appeal from the Coastal Permit Administrator's decision on April 19th approving the following project. Case number CDP number 55-2006, the Bauer Limited Trust. And to the clerk, has proper notice been posted?
Yes, we have proper notice.
Okay. And to the board, has any contact been made to board members? Anyone need to acknowledge any contacts?
I have to acknowledge that I have visited the site on numerous occasions, and I have talked with people who currently are on both sides of this issue, and I believe I'm in a position to be able to fairly hear the case.
Okay. Thank you, Supervisor. I was contacted by Mr. Bauer and Marshall Sayaw in an offer to discuss this item. Upon consideration from and advice from County Council, that offer was declined, and so I did not speak to the issue with those two gentlemen. I want to publicly acknowledge that as a report. Supervisor Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I received one phone call on the topic, but it was not a discussion of any of the merits of the situation.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other contacts or report? Hearing none. This is a public hearing, and on this appeal, there are rules and procedures. To lead off on the issue, there will be a staff report, which will cover a brief summary and any additions to the written report. All staff comments are to be received first. The Board of Supervisors can provide questions regarding the staff report. The Board of Supervisors will then hold all additional questions until public comments and presentations are given. The appellant has 20 minutes, followed by the applicant at 20 minutes. At that point, the clerk will notice We'll note any correspondence or additional phone calls received. For public comment, those wishing to speak to the item under public comment are asked to complete the salmon-colored speaker form and indicate their position. The speaker should be prepared to step to the microphone, state their name, keep their comments to 3 minutes. After the conclusion of public input, the appellant and the applicant will be allowed a 5-minute rebuttal, followed by staff presentations and final remarks. The board will then proceed to ask questions of staff, the applicant, or the appellant, and at that point, the public hearing will be closed and revert back to the board for decision. So those are the procedures outlined for this appeal, and I will now turn it over to the planning staff to begin.
Okay, very briefly, Teresa Spade will be giving the bulk of the presentation, summarizing the project and its evolution. I do want to state that I believe the date was November 19th when the hearing was. I think I heard you state a different date when I was the Coastal Permit Administrator and heard the case and approved it. While Teresa goes through her presentation, I'll also be just routing for the board some photographs of the site.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
The project before you today is an appeal of a coastal development permit for a 285-foot-long retaining wall. The project also includes the excavation and recompaction of existing fill material that's located near the bluff in the proposed retaining wall, associated drainage improvements, relocation and upgrade of the existing septic system that's buried under the fill, and a trail replacement. The purpose of the wall is to prevent continued erosion of fill material that was a result of grading that occurred 20 to 30 years ago. The drainage improvements would treat the existing stormwater runoff from the commercial site and farther east, which is not presently treated or otherwise controlled and is contributing to the fill erosion issues and resulting in untreated runoff entering the estuary. Septic structures are located under the fill near the bluff edge and are already exposed due to bluff erosion. They would be relocated farther away from the bluff edge and replaced with an upgraded system. And that is needed to prevent any potential spills. Public access trail that's located along the bluff edge would be fully impacted by the project. The replacement would be paid for by the project applicant. The replaced trail would benefit from the drainage improvements, a more stable engineered fill, and protection from fill erosion. The proposed retaining wall would connect to a proposed 105-foot retaining wall, which is being considered by the California Coastal Commission. It's located on the southerly lot, which is a surf supermarket lot. The original wall was processed by the Coastal Commission. I believe the application was filed in 1983. The number is 183-270. The reason for this application was because the existing retaining wall failed during the winter of 2005-2006. This occurred along with two other failures occurring within the same fill prism, including